Orcs Must Die Deathtrap released just last week, and it already received 2 hotfixes that aim to address the negative feedback on barricade limits, difficulty scaling, and skill tree progression within a few days of launch. Just 1 week later, it has now received a mammoth-sized update, completely reworking barricades and threads, rescaling enemy health, and reworking a trap to add more anti-Flier options. This rework includes adding thread rerolls, a second type of barricade that you can place with coins, and an option to skip threads entirely to gain 1 additional regular barricade. Oh, and the entire thread library has also been reworked. I'll be going into as much detail as I can in this update, however I've placed timestamps on each topic if you want to jump to anything specific. Without further ado, let's dive into the patch notes. We have a lot to talk about, so let's start with Barricades, which is probably the topic you're most interested in. At launch, you had a soft limit of 16 barricades to place when starting the game, with this limit increasing as you complete waves and take threads that provide more barricades, if you're lucky for them to appear, that is. The hotfix after launch changed this number to 22 barricades, with 2 barricades lost per player. For example, playing solo gives 22, playing with 2 people gives 20, 3 gives 18, and 4 gives 16, with these all distributed among players. This still didn't address a complaint of not being able to buy barricades, so now we have the option to bring Rift Barricades as a trap. These Rift Barricades are separate to the free limited barricades you bring, and cost 4,000 rune coins to purchase. While this may seem steep, you can upgrade these barricades to only cost 3,000 rune coins. They have 5 times more health than regular barricades, and will buff all traps adjacent to the barricade, working similar to Ren's time crystals in terms of placement. Hopefully this addresses the main complaint about barricades, finding a middle ground between a new system and a request for the old system, while buffing traps and providing stronger barricades altogether. Also keep in mind, rune coins are far easier to earn this game, so 3,000 to 4,000 isn't a lot when looking at the full picture. Rift Barricades aren't the only changes to barricades, however. After completing each wave, you're granted 1 of 3 threads. A common complaint is that this is inconsistent with no reroll option. Robot Entertainment have added the option to reroll threads for 1,000 coins, with this cost doubling each reroll and resetting back to 1,000 at the start of each mission. As for barricade changes, you can choose not to reroll and instead skip taking a thread entirely to take a permanent extra barricade for the rest of your run. This costs 5,000 rune coins and doubles each time you skip threads. However, again resets at the start of each mission. While expensive, this provides you far more barricades than ever, along with the Rift Barricade traps that act like the original barricades. And again, this barricade option is permanent for the rest of your run. The final change barricades received might be a little controversial, but was expected to come, and that's that double barricades are now a cursed thread. When playing with 4 players, you each have 4 barricades, where double wide barricades are incredibly balanced here. However, when playing solo, this thread gives 1 player 22 double wide barricades, effectively increasing the barricade limit to 44, which gets out of control when you consider other barricade threads, those you earn from skipping threads, and the new Rift Barricades. So what's the downside? When taking this cursed thread, any orc type enemy is now worth double rift point. This only affects orcs, not ogres and trolls or cyclopses, etc. So this is a relatively low price for effectively doubling the abundance of barricades you'll now have. On the topic of threads, double barricades isn't the only one that got changed. Threads have had a massive balance overhaul, with the entire thread selection reworked to provide a more entertaining and consistent experience. Threads that were previously tiered, as in threads you could select 3 times for marginal bonuses, have been combined into a single, more powerful thread, leaving you with more threads overall across your run. On top of this, many threads were previously mutually exclusive, meaning if you were to take 1 thread, you were locked out of another thread. This is no longer the case for most mutually exclusive threads, but not all mutually exclusive threads. For example, if you take the thread allowing you to launch ogres, you still cannot take the thread allowing you to launch trolls. However, these threads are no longer tiered. Previously, if you took the thread to launch ogres, you'd then have to take another 2 threads to launch shield ogres and armored ogres respectively. These 3 threads are now condensed into the 1, just like the thread for trolls, troll archers and mountain trolls all being 1 thread. Difficulty has also been rescaled, and now scales per wave based on the number of players. Before, if you played with 4 players, even if someone drops out during a mission, the game would continue to scale as if 4 players remained throughout the mission. Now, player dropouts are checked in between waves rather than in between missions, scaling health up or down if someone has left or joined. This currently doesn't scale coins or barricades during the mission if someone leaves or joins. However, the developers are looking into solutions to refund coin and barricades when someone leaves for a future patch. Further changes to difficulty also includes changes to enemy health in general. The health gain when gambling forward is being decreased from a 50% gain to a 25% gain. To offset this, the health scaling for enemies via the difficulty slider has been increased from 40% to 50%. This will make runs much easier going forward, while making them harder as you choose to crank up the difficulty yourself. And that's not all. Extra null assassins no longer spawn randomly in each onslaught, giving you less hunters to deal with overall. And Cyclops druids, those big blue floating bastards no one likes, have had a huge nerf to their health, reducing this from 5,000 health points down to 3,000. To make matters worse for these guys, the Steam Vent Trap has gained a thread to greatly damage flyers, giving you not just another anti-air trap, but a floor trap that can affect one of the more hated enemy types. The Steam Vent also has a thread to be placed on walls as well, giving you many ways to use this now lethal trap. Steam Vent wasn't the only trap to get a rework either. Push traps have also been buffed to stun large enemies by default, making these far more useful than they were before, and both wall chargers and shock zappers have been indirectly buffed. The electrified status effects that both these traps apply has been buffed to double the damage it deals, and double the chain segment reach, meaning your electrified traps and weapon thread will have a much greater impact than before. Some other general quality of life changes have been made. When playing co-op, if you were downed, you'd have to wait until revived, or wait until you timed out to be respawned. Now, you have the option to give up instead of waiting, allowing you to respawn immediately, which is incredibly helpful, especially when everyone is down and no one can revive each other. Slight changes to runs have been made. When defeating a boss, you now instantly earn 100 skulls, making bosses more rewarding to take down and adding more weight to the boss distortions you can take in a run. The victory screen has also been reworked to clarify what gambling forward actually means, while also displaying that you're now wagering skulls if you choose to gamble forward. War Mage changes have also been made. Melee has been reworked to add a smoother experience and allow quicker animation cancelling. Max has been given a second friendly flip trap by default. And Bartholomew, Sophie's ultimate ability and best friend, has had his barricade immunity range doubled, so he'll no longer break your barricades when fighting waves of orcs. Oh, and chests are now a guaranteed spawn. Before, they'd have a random chance to spawn in a random location on each map, or a random cost to give a random reward. Now, they're slightly less random, where you'll always see one on a map. You just need to hunt it down. Bug fixes have also been made, including Ghostfang no longer dying instantly, players no longer getting stuck in the ground, and a thread has been corrected to only show for wall scorchers. Crashes have also been fixed, and Ren's rollback thread has been disabled as they rework this for the next patch. That was a lot to get through, but it's an incredibly promising sign of not just what's to come, but also the commitment and dedication that Robot Entertainment have for this game. The work from Robot Entertainment is incredibly appreciated, and I'm excited to see this game flourish, while hopeful that people give this game a second chance after this update, as it really does address the majority of issues. I've been RobinVouz. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. This type of video is different to the usual uploads, so let me know down below if patch note rundowns are of any use or interest going forward. I have more Orcs Must Die content on the way, so be sure to subscribe if you're interested in catching more videos. And feel free to catch future streams both here and on Twitch for more Orcs Must Die and roguelikes. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and for those that have watched from start to end, I hope you have a wonderful week. Oh, and have fun slaying orcs with as much barricades as your heart desires.